Hey guys, welcome to my channel, and today we're reading When You Argue by Asira Unkarev. So let's get into it. Midoriya. Midoriya, do you know how long you've been unconscious? You asked. Once again, in the hospital. It's become almost like a regular visit for the two of you. And he shook his head and attempted to say something when you cut him off. You've been in a coma, Midoriya. You've been in a coma for 2 damn weeks. Izuku felt his heart drop at that, but what caused him to pause was how formal mine sounded. How she never said his first name yet. But I'm awake now, and I can. I'm sorry, Midoriya, but I can't. Lion said, as she took a few steps away, tears sprang into her eyes, now that he was awake again. I can't keep doing this. I can't keep dating you. If you're going to keep killing yourself like this, I'll be more careful, Lion. No, Midoriya, you won't be careful. I've told you so many times. I've tried to help you, but you just keep doing it. I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry, but I can't keep watching you destroy yourself. I love you. I really love you, but I can't date you anymore. One stated, her tears pouring from her eyes, as she made her way to the door. I'm sorry, Midoriya, but we'll have to part ways. With that, she walked out, not even giving Izuku a chance to say goodbye. Bakugou. He had been acting weird for a while. Whenever you tried to kiss him, whether it was on the cheek, hand, forehead, or lips, Katsuki would shy away from her loving action, with a look of complete and utter disgust clear on his face. Before scolding her for doing something like that, his sudden change in demeanor was breaking her heart. But YN refused to believe that Katsuki had fallen out of love. He had told you the two of you were going on a date today, but he had bailed out. So he went to the Hideaway Cafe and decided that you would go on your own. Spoil yourself a little bit, since your boyfriend wouldn't do so. And that was until you saw him, his arm wrapped around another, and he seemed to be having fun kissing that girl's cheek. Are you having fun, Katsu? He said in a cold voice, watching from behind as Katsuki danced before he turned to face you, his face struggling to form the right emotion as he tried to find what to say. I mean, you should be, since you cancelled our date for this one, Lion said, causing the other girl's face to fall. I can explain, YN. Katsuki started, a desperate attempt. He was cut off by YN pouring her drink over the top of his head. Don't bother, Bakugou. I don't want to hear a damn thing that a cheater like you has to say. I'm done with you. With that, Lion turned away from him, as the other girl by his side started to yell at him for his infidelity, while he looked helpless, not knowing what to do, but making no effort to stop you. Todoroki. Did you not hear me? YN, I am breaking up with you, he said, completely serious when he spoke. No, I heard you quite well, Shouto. I just don't understand. Why? When replied, her face morphing into a look of hurt confusion. Why was he trying to break up with her? What has she done? I'm breaking up with you because you're too weak, Shouto snapped, while he tapped his foot impatiently. My father has already helped me find someone better than you, so... Shouto was suddenly cut off in the middle of his sentence. silenced by Yan's hand shooting out and slapping him harshly across the cheek, causing his head to jerk to the right. She glared at him, the heartbreak written all over her face. "You're a bastard, Shouto," Wine seized as she wiped her tears away with the back of her hand. "A coward and a bastard. I know that you don't want to do this, so why? Why are you doing this to us? Because you're not enough." She slowly looked back up at him, cursing his name all the while, before she stormed out of his dorm, leaving him there with a broken heart. Yan stormed out of Shouto's dorms, ignoring all the looks of concern she got. She glared at the screen for a moment before dialing a number that she hadn't called in years. With a laugh of annoyance, she listened to the phone ring for a few moments before a familiar voice answered on the other end. "Dad?" she said in a low voice. "I'm coming back home." Kirishima, him and him had dated for a while, and eventually there just wasn't that spark that he had felt first when he had started to date his once beloved girlfriend. After Eijiro noticed how his once perfect relationship was beginning to tarnish, he began to see other flaws as well. He noticed more and more of them each time that he saw her. Eijiro saw how she was too excitable over her recently discovered quirk. He saw how more often than not, Yan invented devices that didn't work out the way she should, more than she had made a properly working one, and how Yan wasn't as perfect as he once thought. And with every passing day, the list just seemed to drag on. "That's why I'm breaking up with you, Yan," he said, as he explained in great painstaking detail about how he had fallen out of love. I guess it makes sense then, Kirishima-san," Yan rasped in a low voice, praying that it didn't sound too pathetic. "Then we are no longer a couple, I suppose." Her voice cracked as she spoke, but she was doing her best to keep herself together, though it was hard. When her whole world was crumbling down around her, her heart was shattering, but she refused to let Eijiro know. "So, goodbye then." With that, Yan turned away and hastily walked back towards her dorm before Eijiro had a chance to say anything else, and he began to wonder if he had really made the right decision to break up with her, or if he had just made the worst mistake in his whole life. Kaminari, having to constantly babysit, was starting to get old. Yan loved her 3 troublemaking nephews more than anything else in the world, but always having to look after them at the drop of a hat was beginning to wear her down. She would do anything to help her older brother, so that was why she never complained to him. But after she started to date Denki, it was becoming too much. Denki would act just like those 3 whenever he was around, and in the end, it would leave Yan with a trash department, a headache, and a long night of cleaning. Denki had become more like another child for her to look after, and it was breaking her heart. "Denki, I'm serious right now. I've been trying to talk to you about this for weeks, and you keep avoiding it." Denki shied away from her a bit, rubbing the back of his neck, a bad feeling growing back in the pit of his stomach. "Sorry, Yan," Denki replied with a small awkward laugh. "Here, I'll go make some tea and we can—" "No. No more stalling, Kaminari," Yan snapped, running a hand over her face, a sudden feeling of exhaustion overwhelming her. I should have made you listen about this long ago, but I kept letting you talk me out of it. I let you avoid this discussion because you didn't want to face the problem head on. Ryan, just calm down, alright? He pleaded, with a look of desperation in his eyes. He had an idea of where this was going, and he didn't like it. He loved Ryan more than anything, but he knew that he was in the wrong. I know that I am done, Kaminari. I can't keep dating someone who feels more like a child than my boyfriend. Denki reeled back in shock at her words, but he expected them at the same time as well. I am sorry, Kaminari, but it doesn't even feel like you're the same age as me. Instead, it feels like I'm babysitting another nephew now. She looked heartbroken, like she had to come a long and hard decision. After fighting with herself for a while, Denki tried to say something, anything to her, but the words got caught in his throat as she escorted him out of her apartment and out of her life. Sero, Hanta sneered as he slammed his hand against the window, shocking Ryan and Katsuki, causing the two of them to look at him with wide panic looks in their faces. And for him, this was the 5th downtime he had seen them like this in only 3 weeks. What the hell are you two doing? He sneered, his eyes thinning into slats, as Ryan looked bashfully while she tried to hide the little notebook from him. We weren't doing anything, Hanta. Ryan began, but she was cut out by Hanta's furious glare. You were doing something you shouldn't have. And for a moment, just a single moment, he felt a sense of guilt building up at the sight of Ryan tearing up. But the feeling gave way to nothing but fury. I'm done with you. You're just a cheating whore. At those down words, Ryan began to soften to despondent tears. And before Hanta could do anything, he was on the floor, with Katsuki standing over him, with a wrathful look on his face. Damn you, Sero. He sneered furiously at the bruised up boy lying at his feet. You're a poor damn excuse of a man. With that, Katsuki threw the little notebook at Hanta, before pulling Ryan into his arms and leading her out of the cafe. It was only then, when he was left alone, that he found the courage to look at the little notebook of Ryan's. And there, in the center of the front page, he saw her neat writing. In a simple, precise scroll, he saw the words, "For our amazing 1-year anniversary," and he felt his heart drop. For the last 3 weeks, Ryan had been planning a 1-year anniversary party for the two of them, with the help of his 3 closest friends, and he had done nothing but ruin the relationship.